Welcome back to Heroes Next Door. Today we're doing Station Cribs. We are about 20 minutes out of Indianapolis in Indiana. This is White River Township Fire Department. And dude, you guys got to pay attention because this fire station is sick. As we enter the building, I'm going to take you inside to their foyer area, and we're immediately met with one of their parade apparatuses. This is a fire truck that's been fully restored and is functional. They take good pride in that, but I look at the trophy cases here in the foyer, and I notice they have a list of names. And so not only do they take pride in their apparatus, but they're taking pride in their people and their employees. So this building was finished in the end of 2019 with two different purposes. One is the administrative and headquarters, but it's also a fully functional fire department. As I make my way into the community room, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the history of this department. It was established in 1952 as a volunteer service, roughly about a mile away from here. But as the years grew and volunteerism went down, in the early 2000s, they transitioned into a full-time department. They have roughly about 130 members, with 70 of those being full-time, and the rest are all part-time. So in this large, well-lit community space, they not only use it for their Con Ed, for their education and board meetings, but they've tried to make it a space available for the public. So they're going to be able to teach CPR. If you need to rent it for some reason, get a hold of these guys and see what they can do for you. Coming out of the community room, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the community that they serve. It's 23 square miles. They have 32,000 residents, and they do about 3,500 calls a year. Down here is their bathroom for the community room and a little sheriff's office. But we're going to go into the administration office here. And you got to remember, they have 3 different fire stations. They have a 4th one being built, and this is where they help manage those. Walking down the administrative side, I want to take just a minute and talk about this. It's very important for every business to have a good administration. They're the guys behind the scene helping us as volunteer or paid staff to get the things that we need to get our job done. You're talking about a bookkeeper, your deputy chief, and your fire chief. You also have a nice little conference room here. This is set up really well. So if they need to take care of business and plan that in another building, here's a good place to do that. So the administrative headquarters is just like any typical corporate office building. You got plenty of offices to staff everybody that you need. They tried to bring it into one central location. So not only do you have the fire chiefs, you have the training chiefs for the fire department, you have an EMS division chief, and down this hallway, you also have a fire marshal and stuff like that. If you look all the way down, it brings you right back to the community room. So it's a big circle, kind of a corporate building, very well designed. As I finish up the administrative side, do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit that notification. We're going to be heading into the Apparatus Bay, but stay to the end because we're going to be going upstairs to show you all the living quarters. Coming into the Apparatus Bay, I noticed that it's a very large Apparatus Bay and very well lit, very clean. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 apparatus inside. They have a trailer outside. But as I'm looking here, I noticed in the corner, they have something that's pretty unique. They have the Save the Baby program, and they designed a whole system to take care of these babies that are dropped off. Not only is it heated, but it's air conditioning, it's alarmed. This is the first time I've seen this at a fire station. We all know that hospitals accept babies that aren't necessarily wanted or putting up for adoption. Firehouses do that too, but not many of them have this kind of system. As I make my way into the Apparatus Bay, I notice they have a 2017 ambulance, which is an ALS unit. That's their primary response vehicle. They have a 2007 engine. This is also a certified paramedic response vehicle on top of being an engine. The one thing I did notice is the table here. This is made by the members here. They took an old truck that they were renovating and made a table out of it. This is one of their drawers, and underneath, if you look, is the ladder that they cut up and designed. What an awesome way to have community in an engine bay. A fun fact about this truck is the bell that's on the front of this truck. This bell has been transferred from the other primary unit now to this one. And when this one goes out of service, this bell is going to go to the next primary unit. So it's one of those traditions that they really want to keep and make sure that the bells stay on the front of the trucks. Making my way down the Apparatus Bay, to my left here is a 2015 tower, ladder, truck, whatever you call it. It's ready to go. It's in service as they need it. To my right here is going to be a 2005 engine. And then the last but not least, we have a 2016 backup ambulance. This is ALS certified. So in my opinion, every firehouse should have a fire pole. I think they're very cool. OSHA's been trying to get rid of them for years, but they decided to build this into their firehouse. Not only did they try to make it as safe as possible with the foam on the bottom, but this is in the engine bay, so you gotta worry about the exhaust. What they did upstairs, you'll see in a little bit, they made that into a warm zone where this remains the hot zone. Making my way to the end of the Apparatus Bay, I noticed they have a very good laundry back here. This laundry is set up to be both a decon for yourselves, but also for your equipment. You have the laundry facilities to take care of your gear. They have a coat rack to hang it to let it dry. Coming from the laundry facilities, we're going to make our way towards the front of the building. And there's a very special feature they have in this building that I want to talk about. Over to my left is going to be their weight room. We're going to walk past their TSU. It stands for Tactical Support Unit. Has a lot of gear on it, so if you need extra support on a fire ground, this is the truck they're going to take. I believe it's a 2005 Salisbury. They have a cascade system here to fill all their bottles. They are the ones for the 3 stations to fill the bottle. So if you're out doing training and you run low on air, they're going to come here and fill them up. But what's really cool about this is the gear room. This is the first building that I've noticed that doesn't have the gear in the engine bay or near the engine bay. They have it closed off. The reason for that is they want to protect us as much as possible. They consider this the hot zone. That will be a warm zone. They're going to hang their gear in there. It's pressurized, so all the air gets filtered out and away to make sure that they're clean. Let's take a look. This gear room is very specifically designed to meet the NFPA regulations for carcinogens. They've divided it into EMS and fire, but what you're able to do is wash your gear, hang it and dry it, and then bring it and store it here. This is pressurized, so all the air gets filtered out and it doesn't contaminate the rest of the building when you're off shift. This is one of the first stations that we've had that doesn't have gear hanging out in the engine bay, and that's to meet those regulations. Even the door is double swung, so you don't have to worry about a handle. You can get at your gear and go right to work. Coming out of their gear room, there's another room that I want you to see. This is their workshop. It's a very cool workshop. It's a little one, but it has everything that they need. Not only to work on the trucks and the apparatus here, but what they do here is allow their members to do some personal stuff. As long as their chores are done, the house is clean, the trucks are good, they can do some personal things. They're working on a restoration project for an old fire truck. They're even building a headboard. One of the coolest and most useful rooms on the main level here is going to be their weight room. Let's take a look inside. Making my way into the weight room, I noticed that it's huge. It's pretty much the same level as a college weight room that I've been in. You know, you have everything that you possibly need. You have your free weights, you have your bench press, your stair stepper, your treadmills. But what's really unique about this place is they have a complete sports medicine. They have an office here for sports medicine. So whether these guys get hurt on the job or off the job, she's able to help take care of them. They also do yearly evaluations to make sure they're fit and ready to go. Making my way up the stairs from the Apparatus Bay to the living quarters, I notice a huge transition starting to happen. First of all, I see this huge mural on the wall. It's made from all their retired hoses or decommissioned hoses. It's the red line flag in remembrance of all those fallen firefighters. And as I walk up the stairs, I look off to my left here and I see some of their history. It's starting to begin to feel more like home rather than that corporate office building or just workspace. So as I step off the landing and I walk into this living space, I'm immediately met with the people that live here. And I feel immediately like at home. You know, I'm walking down this hallway and I see books on the shelves, I see the pictures on the walls. They have their old log books up here. It really makes you feel less industrial and more inviting. As I turn the corner and make my way into the kitchen, I notice it's a very large kitchen. You have industrial sized appliances, you have a large countertop, and you know, this place is big enough to hold all 3 platoons, A, B, and C. Remember we talked about they had over 70 full-time employees and a bunch of part-time employees. So whoever designed this was really thinking ahead. They have 3 different refrigerators for each of the platoons. They have 3 different pantries for the platoons. And that's because they wanted to make sure each platoon feels at home. Many hours has been spent at this kitchen table, but when they're done eating, they're going to want to transition into a more comfortable space. This open concept plan is exactly what they needed. Have their seats here, they can sit down, watch some TV, but if they want to do a little bit more, enjoy the outside, they have an awesome little patio. As I make my way from the living room area down to the bunk area, I notice that they designed this with the staff in mind. They have both A, B, and C platoons. They have a Jack and Jill bathroom, but when I walk my way into the bunks, I notice it's very plain. And they did that for a reason. They want to make sure that you're resting when you're in here. So they don't have the TVs, they don't have all the white noise that's going on that we're going to interfere with your rest. They did that on purpose. They want to make sure that you're safe and ready to go. As I come out of the bunk room, I need to mention that the administration took this whole place one step further. What they did in this bunk area is they divided it into the fire and EMS. What that does is when a fire call comes out, it's not necessarily going to wake the EMS side and vice versa. They also took their tones and decided to escalate them. So it starts out quiet and slowly gets louder and louder. Finally, they used red lights instead of white lights when the tones go off. So I'm going to walk you into where the fire pole is. As I mentioned downstairs, that they wanted to create a warm room for this area. They put doors both on the bunk side and the crew room side to get to the fire pole. So it's very safe for any of the exhaust coming up. It's isolated off, but you still have quick access downstairs. Making my way down to the final hallway, we run into two little offices. These are the company officer's office, and we have the opportunity to talk to one of the captains. So let's go do that real quick. So we want to thank White River for inviting us down here in order to do a station cribs, but we have an opportunity to talk to the captain here and get his opinion on his new building and things like that. First of all, introduce yourself to everybody.
Dale Saucier, I'm the captain here at White River Township Fire Department, Firehouse 53, as we affectionately call it. Technically in the CAD system, it's Station 53, but we put the firehouse so we kind of make it a home.
Okay. This is an awesome building. We had opportunity to walk through both the administrative side, we went to the engine bay or the apparatus bay, and we made it to your living quarters. What are some of the things that you liked about this?
It's kind of weird, but the simplest things like the red overhead doors. I love that tradition of, you see the red doors, that's a firehouse. I like some of the nostalgic things we've interjected in this building, some of the old pictures, and like having you saw our old logs accessible, because we look hey, are we ahead of last year or behind? But my favorite part is our tables.
Yeah.
Our firehouse kitchen table and the one in the bay. We sit around and we always talk about, hey, firehouse table, you solve the world's problems, because there's always a lawyer, a plumber, an electrician, a counselor, and a family medicine guy. So it's like
right. The one thing that I noticed when I made it from downstairs to upstairs, it really felt like I was transitioning from business to a home. Was that for a reason?
When we first moved in, it was white walls, and then there's some color accent walls and nothing on the walls hanging. But we brought stuff from our old firehouse. We found some stuff, we printed off stuff, and we wanted to make it more of a home.
Now, we come from Pennsylvania. We're all the way in Indiana. I noticed that you were on the corner of a school property. Was that on purpose, and where were you originally?
Well, we were originally out, it's called State Road 37, state road that runs through here. It's a divided highway, limited access highway. So the state has been transitioning to I-69.
Okay.
So this is the final leg from Martinsville, Indiana to Indianapolis. And we're we're about middle of it. So our firehouse was in their way. The administration worked diligently, our Fire Protection District Board and county officials, they worked real hard to get us a new facility. So our facility was going away. The state said, okay, you're the first public safety facility that we have had to relocate since this project started 15, 20 years ago, whatever. And the design went in, they did functional replacement. We added some things like our antique engine bay, a bigger training room, bigger weight room, things like that. Right. This is the building we got. The brainchild was the school corporation goes, we would really like to have a firehouse on our campuses. Active shooter issues, all that. I mean, just fire alarms, medical calls were there quick.
Right.
And we also have that sheriff's substation you saw down there. So sometimes we got sheriff's cars sitting in the parking lot, and that's a deterrent too, and that's what we're hoping.
Yeah, I think that was very forward thinking of the administration. Yes. All the history leading up to this, they took all that into account and decided to put this here. So this is wrapping up another episode of Station Cribs in Indiana. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit that notification so we can keep bringing you more.